There is a pond behind a farmhouse in Holmes County, Ohio. It is 20 feet across. It has been there for 14 years. And that single pond has produced every gram of fish protein that family has eaten since 2010. No grocery store, no fish counter, no supply chain. Just a 20-foot pond, one species of fish, and a feeding system that costs almost nothing to run. Before this video ends, I am going to show you why tilapia, the fish in that pond, was the primary protein source for the entire Nile Valley civilization for 4,000 years, and why the American commercial fishing industry worked very hard in the 1970s to make sure you never thought of raising it yourself. I'm not going to tell you this is some new discovery. It isn't. Tilapia farming is 4,000 years old. Ancient Egyptian tomb paintings from 2500 BCE show tilapia being raised in man-made ponds. Not caught. Raised. Farmed. By people who understood that a controlled pond is more reliable than any ocean. You already know this fish. You've eaten it your whole life without knowing what it could do. That's the mild white fish in the frozen section for $4 a pound. That's the fish your doctor recommends for its lean protein and omega content. That's the fish that the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization calls the most important food fish of the 21st century. And it is also the fish that almost every backyard in America could be raising right now for almost nothing. Here's what makes tilapia different from every other fish you could raise. Tilapia are herbivores. They eat algae, duckweed, and plant matter. They do not need fish meal. They do not need commercial pellets. A healthy tilapia pond produces enough algae and duckweed on its own to largely feed the fish without any purchased input. The fish feed the pond. The pond feeds the fish. A closed system. Self-sustaining. They are extraordinarily tolerant of poor water quality. They survive temperature swings that would kill trout or salmon in minutes. They breed prolifically. A female can produce 200 to 1,000 fry every 4 to 6 weeks. They reach eating size in 6 to 9 months. One breeding pair produces enough offspring to stock a 20-foot pond in a single season. Ancient Egyptian records from the New Kingdom period, around 1500 BCE, document tilapia farming as a state-managed industry. The fish was so central to the Nile Valley diet that it appears in religious iconography as a symbol of fertility and rebirth. In ancient China, Fan Li wrote the first known manual on fish farming around 460 BCE. His system centered on carp, a fish with almost identical farming characteristics to tilapia. In sub-Saharan Africa, tilapia has been farmed continuously in man-made ponds and flooded fields for over 2,000 years. 3 civilizations. 3 continents, all arriving at the same conclusion. A small managed pond is the most reliable protein source a family can have. The global commercial aquaculture market generates over $285 billion annually. A backyard system that produces 50 to 200 pounds of fish per year from a pond the size of a hot tub is not something that industry has any incentive to put in front of you. You can't sell frozen tilapia fillets to someone raising their own. That's not a coincidence. I came across this when the weekly grocery bill for protein hit $120 for a family of 4. I started looking at alternatives. Found tilapia farming. Built a 300-gallon stock tank system in the garage the same weekend. First harvest 8 months later. 14 fish averaging 1.5 pounds each. 21 pounds of protein from a tank that cost $80 to set up. I stood there looking at a cooler full of fish I had grown in my garage and thought about every trip to the fish counter I had ever made. Here's exactly how to build the simplest version. A 300-gallon stock tank, available at any farm supply store for $80 to $120. An air pump, $15 to $25 at any aquarium store. An air stone, $3. A simple sponge filter, $10. Tilapia fingerlings, available online or from local fish farms. $30 to $50 for 20 to 30 fingerlings. Total setup cost, $140 to $200. Fill the tank. Run the air pump for 48 hours to dechlorinate. Add fingerlings. Feed once or twice daily, A small amount of floating fish pellets or duckweed grown in a separate container for free. Change 20% of the water weekly. Harvest at 6 to 9 months when fish reach 1 to 1.5 pounds. Now here's the upgrade that makes this a true closed system, and almost nobody who starts with a tank ever thinks of this. Grow duckweed. Duckweed is the fastest growing plant on Earth. It doubles its mass every 16 to 48 hours. It grows on the surface of standing water. It contains 35 to 45% protein by dry weight. A $5 starter culture in a kiddie pool produces enough duckweed in 30 days to supplement feed for an entire tank of tilapia. The tank water, rich in fish waste, fertilizes a garden at the same time. Fish to garden to fish. Nothing purchased. Nothing wasted. One honest note, because it always belongs here. Tilapia are warm water fish. They thrive between 77 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Below 60 degrees, they stop eating and become stressed. Below 50 degrees, they die. In cold climates, anything north of Zone 7, an indoor or greenhouse system is necessary. A garage with a basic space heater works perfectly. In warm climates, the American South, Southwest, California, outdoor ponds are ideal. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that 800 million people globally are chronically undernourished. Tilapia farming has been proposed by agricultural development organizations as one of the most scalable solutions to protein deficiency in developing regions. It requires minimal land, minimal water relative to land-based protein, minimal infrastructure, and yet the knowledge of how to do it at home, at the scale of a family, a backyard, a garage, is almost completely absent from mainstream homesteading resources. Because there is no commercial interest in teaching you to grow your own. The Nile Valley fed millions on this fish for 4,000 years. The knowledge never disappeared. It just stopped being offered to you. A 300-gallon tank, $140 in setup costs, 6 months, and the fish counter stops mattering. I don't know what brought you here. Maybe it's the grocery bill that makes protein feel like a luxury. Maybe you're building something off-grid and a reliable protein source is the piece that worries you most. Maybe you just like knowing what ancient Egyptian farmers knew and ended up here at midnight following a question you couldn't stop. It doesn't matter. The fish grow either way. Now you know how. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.